Mark had always thought he and Sarah had the perfect marriage. They were high school sweethearts, the kind of couple everyone looked up to. For 15 years, their life was a beautiful tapestry woven with shared dreams, inside jokes, and unwavering support. Mark worked hard as an architect, designing homes for other families, while Sarah, a freelance graphic designer, worked from her home studio, always there to greet him with a warm smile and an even warmer dinner. Their 2 kids, Leo and Mia, were the center of their universe. Life was good. Life was perfect. Or so he thought. The first thread in that perfect tapestry began to unravel on a Tuesday. It was subtle, almost unnoticeable. Sarah had started working late more often. Big project, she'd say, her eyes tired but sparkling with creative energy. Mark, ever the supportive husband, would just nod, proud of her dedication. He'd handle the kids' bedtime routine, read them stories, and tuck them in. His heart swelling with love for his little family. He never questioned it. Why would he? This was Sarah, his Sarah, the woman who could finish his sentences and knew exactly how he liked his coffee. Then came the phone calls. Whispered conversations in the other room, doors suddenly closing when he walked by. When he asked who it was, she'd wave a dismissive hand. Just a client, very demanding. The smiles she gave him seemed a little strained, the kisses a little brief. He chalked it up to stress. Big projects were stressful, knew that better than anyone. Even suggested she take a break, maybe a weekend getaway, just the 2 of them. She smiled a sad, distant smile and said, "Maybe when this project is over, honey." One evening, Mark came home early, hoping to surprise Sarah and the kids. He walked in to find the house quiet. Too quiet. A note on the counter said Sarah had taken the kids to a friend's house for a play date. He smiled, thinking it was sweet of her. He decided to do some tidying up, starting with the shared home office. That's when he saw it. Her laptop was open, her email account still logged in. He knew he shouldn't look. It was an invasion of privacy. But a gnawing feeling, a cold dread he hadn't felt before, made his hand move on its own. His eyes scanned the inbox, client emails, newsletters, and then a name he didn't recognize. Alex. The subject lines were simple. Night, thinking of you, can't wait. Curiosity turned to a sick, twisting feeling in his stomach. He clicked on one. His world stopped. The words on the screen blurred as his heart hammered against his ribs. It wasn't about a design project. It was about secret meetings, stolen moments, and feelings. Feelings Sarah was supposed to have for him. The email read, "Alex, tonight was incredible. Being with you feels like coming alive again. Mark is a good man. He just doesn't see me anymore. With you, I feel seen." Doesn't see her? Mark saw her every single day. He saw the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was concentrating. He saw the little crinkles around her eyes when she laughed. He saw everything. Or had he been looking but not truly seeing? The email chain was long, stretching back for months. All those late nights, those whispered calls, they weren't for a client, they were for Alex. He stumbled back from the desk, gasping for air. The room felt like it was closing in on him. The photos on the wall, their wedding, the kids, births, family vacations, they all seemed to mock him. A gallery of lies. He felt a rage building inside him, hot and blinding, followed by a wave of profound, soul-crushing sadness. His perfect marriage, his perfect life, was a sham. When Sarah came home later that evening, her face bright and cheerful, Mark was sitting in the dark living room. She flicked on the light, and her smile faltered when she saw the look on his face. "Mark, what's wrong? You're scaring me." He couldn't form the words. He just looked at her, and in his eyes, she saw everything. She saw that he knew. The color drained from her face. The silence stretched between them, thick with betrayal and 15 years of history. Finally he spoke, his voice raspy, broken. "Alex. Who is Alex?" The confession came in a torrent of tears and excuses. Alex was a photographer she'd met on her big project. It started as a professional collaboration, then friendship, then more. She claimed she was lonely, that Mark was always working, that they had grown distant. She said she never meant to hurt him. Each word was a dagger to Mark's heart. Lonely? He was right there. He was always right there. The days that followed were a blur of numb disbelief. They lived like ghosts in their own home. The silence punctuated only by the children's innocent laughter, a sound that now felt painfully out of place. Mark couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the words from those emails burned into the back of his eyelids. He had a choice to make. He could explode, end it all, shatter their family. Part of him, the angry, wounded part, wanted to. But then he looked at Leo and Mia. He saw their trusting eyes, their happy smiles, oblivious to the storm raging around them. He thought of the 15 years they had built. Was it all a lie? Or was it something real that had been broken and could maybe be fixed? Mark didn't have the answer. He told Sarah he needed space. He packed a bag and went to stay with his brother. He needed to think, away from the constant, painful reminders. The first few days were the hardest. He cycled through anger, grief, and a bewildering sense of loss. He replayed their entire marriage in his head, searching for signs, for clues he might have missed. Were there moments he had been distant? Times he had taken her for granted? Maybe. But did that justify this level of betrayal? One afternoon, sitting in his brother's guest room, he made a decision. He wasn't going to let this destroy him. Couldn't let it destroy his family without a fight. It's not a fight of anger and blame, but a fight for understanding. For his kids, and maybe, just maybe, for the memory of the love he thought they had. He called Sarah. His voice was steady, calm. We need to talk, not as husband and wife. But as to people who have 2 children and a lot to figure out, I'm willing to go to counseling. Are you? There was a long pause on the other end, followed by a shaky, tearful, yes, yes, Mark, I am. The road ahead was long and uncertain. Trust was shattered, and rebuilding it would be like piecing together a broken mirror. Some pieces would always be missing, and the cracks would forever be visible. Mark didn't know if they could ever get back to the perfect life they once had. In fact, he was starting to realize that perfect was an illusion. Life was messy and complicated. But as he ended the call, for the first time in weeks, he felt a tiny flicker of something other than pain. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet. It wasn't hope, not exactly. It was just a beginning. A chance to find a new truth, one that wasn't built on a perfect fantasy, but on a difficult, painful, and honest reality. He didn't know where the path would lead, but he knew he had to take the first step, for his kids and for himself. Thank you for watching. If you found this story moving, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.